This video is brought to you by Patreon supporter Scott.
Hello and welcome. This video is brought to you by Patreon provider Scott. That's a name we haven't heard in a long time. When he reached out to me a couple weeks ago and said, I have some stuff I want to send up, are you cool with that? I said absolutely yes, without even knowing what it was. Once I found out what it was, I was painfully impressed and surprised and happy, just a tyrant of just emotion. I'm not going to talk about what the optic was, but do know that these rings go for that optic. So maybe that'll give you some sort of inkling as to what you might be expecting soon. Anyway, what we have here are a set of 36mm ZEISS ultralight rings. These are $200. So if you are the type of person that doesn't want to spend that much money even on optic, these aren't going to be for you. But what does your $200 buy you when it comes to precision rings? Well, right off the bat, you can see we have a very beautiful hard case with a clasp right here on the side. We crack this clamshell open and we have two beautiful rings inlaid inside of nice foam and two specially sized torque bits. Well, they're not specially sized, but they are the size that we're going to be needing for these rings. Looks like a T15. Yep, that's what that is. And a T25. Okay. So I'm going to leave those out because we're going to need them, because I don't want to use my stuff just in case it damages these truly magnificent looking rings. And when they say ultralight, they're not kidding. So how light is ultralight? Well, I have the set of 34mm, I believe, Vortex Precision low rings. And so they're roughly the same size. You know, if I pull one up, you see they're really, really close. The Vortex rings, which come in about 100 and change, like 110, 120. You could sometimes find them for a little bit less, but they're sub 5 ounces. They're 4.87 ounces. These ZEISS ultralight rings, oh wait, that doesn't make any sense. Why are they heavier? Well, maybe because ultralight is usually just light. Okay, well that's one thing to take note of. But you know what, they're still fairly lightweight. At least they feel so in hand. And comparing the two, well, one looks a little bit more dressed up than the other. But if you don't like a shiny finish, you're not going to go with the ZEISS. You're going to go with something like this for even less money. But for your money, you not only get two nice bits and a nice hard case, you also get this little bubble level on top, which is a nice touch. Why they put it on the top ring as opposed to the bottom ring, I think I have some sort of reasons as to why, but at least that's included, which is a nice touch. Now, really getting into the nitty-gritty of this, you can see that these things are painfully nice to look at. The finish on them is pretty good, a little bit of wear marks here and there, but these are slightly used. But the finish overall is just beautiful. And you can see on the bottom why. They're made in the UK. They have all your torque settings on top, the model number, and the overall height, which should be from the top of this area here to the center of where the optic would be. You have a single large T25 head screw on the bottom. If you hear any oddball noises, that's landscapers outside doing some gardening. They've been there all day and I just don't have the time to wait any longer. As I say that, of course, they drive by my window. The clamp on this thing is very small, very lightweight. I don't know what material they're using, but it's at least 60-61. But something really disturbing is happening on top over here. English no good. You could see that there's marks on the top of this claw, and if you run your finger over this, there's a slight edge there. No idea why. I don't know if I can really show that in any real discernible way. There is a very slight gap underneath that. It's going to be impossible to show on camera, but it is there. But you could hear it scraping across that top edge. No idea what that's caused from, but there you go. I guess that's what $200 buys you. But anyway, other than that, they look like they're beautifully machined, and the finish is sensational. This is a very large threaded screw that's going to hold this clasp into the main base. As far as the lock for the pick rail, it is machined completely into the bottom of the ring, so you don't have to worry about that thing coming loose on you whatsoever. As far as how much play this thing has on a standard 1913 rail, you can see there's a lot of movement fore and aft on this thing, which shouldn't really matter. You're going to be pushing forward anyway to compensate for recoil, but I would at least like to see a little bit tighter of a gap here. I'm not asking for it to be snug fit, press it in place, but that just seems like an excessive amount of slop. Compare that to a vortex ring, you could see there's a lot less movement. Now, I'm not making this a comparison video, I'm just giving you guys another example. This is a lot less than that. Another thing to note is the bottom of the screw is slightly tapered, so when you do torque this thing down, it fits into a small pocket on the claw itself and really helps lock this thing down tightly. Taking a closer look at the lower ring before we look at the top, you can see there's almost no real machine marks on this thing. The overall fit and finish, again, is very, very high. This little relief cut on the side is probably so this way when you clamp it down, you don't have to worry about this damaging or nicking the side of the scope tube, which is nice to see because I have seen some rings and some tubes create a nice little mark over there. So that relief is nice to see. I'm not too sure why the grooves are on the inside, but honestly, it might be for better contact surface. Having the grooves there might allow the tube to not pick up high points as much, but that could just be all BS. As far as the cap itself goes, again, there's a beautiful sort of finish to everything. They feel really, really nice. There's no sharp edges anywhere, and that's very nice to see for the price. As far as the bubble level goes, you can see it right there. Let's see if I can take my little precision level. Granted, it's not the most precision thing on the planet, and see if this at least lines up. So you can clearly see the bubble level on the cap is just touching the line, and on my little precision level, it's basically right there, so that is pretty good. Let me rotate this around, and you can see we have consistency, so pretty good. One last thing to note before I put these caps on, you can see that under the screw head, the anodizing is coming off in a kind of weird way. I wasn't expecting the anodizing to hold up completely, but it is ripping off pretty inconsistently underneath the head. But like I said, these are very barely used, so something to keep in mind. But it's just weird. No say.
All right, we got the ZEISS rings in a mystery optic. I also adjusted the way I have my light down range. I don't know if I like it more this way. I have it up as opposed to from the bottom. It's definitely different. Anyway, it's properly torqued right now to 30 inch-pounds on the base. They call for 36. I do not want to over-torque these things and or avoid the warranty. Loosening up the front and the rear. You can see it is moving. Pushing forward, snugging up the front ring, snugging up the back ring, and then we're going to go back to the front and torque, and then torque the rear. That looks okay. Let's redo this. Loosening up the front, loosening up the rear, wiggle, pushing forward, snugging up the front, snugging up the rear, torquing the front, torquing the rear. That looks very good. Let's do it one more time for good luck. As you can see, it's loose. Pushing up, forward, snugging up the front, snugging up the rear, torquing the front, and torquing the rear. Again, only to 30 inch-pounds, and it looks like it resets flawlessly. I was expecting nothing less.
So there you have it. $200 rings work quite well. Well enough that you shouldn't have any issues with them whatsoever. Would I spend my money on them? Probably not, but boy oh boy do they look really friggin' good. A huge thank you to Patreon provider Scott for sending these in for review, and of course, another huge thank you to all of you, my lovely viewers. See you again next time. And a huge thank you to my Patreon providers and my Subscribe Star subscribers. Without you, this truly wouldn't be possible. If you'd like to support my channel but don't want to join either of those, I completely understand. But you could still help by using my affiliate links in the description below, and or like, share, and subscribe as always. Again, thank you very much.